Yeah, it's giving nice things.
It's giving nice moods.
It's giving a nice vibe in a donjo. How about kudonjo?
Donjo mabaya.
Huh?
Mlikusheo wimbo.
Yes, mlikuwa mnaipenda mkidhani itaisha.
Unajua tu, you know, people start liking something leo, then kesho wanaanza in a hit, but a hit sana, they're waiting for the next big thing.
So now what's the next big thing according to where we are, according to what we have?
The next big thing maybe Vybes Kartel coming to Kenya.
Bas. When you unajua. It's a pretty sad time to be a handsome boy with an iPhone. Yeah, hiyo ndo mimi nitasema as we await for Vybes Kartel. Try as hard as possible. You change your walking style. Start bouncing while walking.
Start speaking kigeto. If you don't know share.
If you have to record, try and get a lip out mdogo sort of phone. One iPhone. Watu wa macho uta.
Just for a while.
Just
for that
week. Work on the accent. Work on the accent also. Like accent jaribu ikwe. Tutakushanda zetu. The Barbie accent. My G, my gang. Wolan. No.
Kuna sema woza. A lonely
Bogi. Yeah, start practicing because Vybes Kartel is among the few artists who just master the vibe of getting a whole audience. Like everyone is your audience. He has songs for the Barbie. He has songs for the ghetto. He has songs for chilling. He has songs for the room. He has songs for. He has gospel songs. He has.
amekuwa
all round. And there was actually a correction for people who expected the show to be at inside Kasarani Stadium. It's actually at Kasarani. What's the name for this mini? Acha nitafute hapa. They clarified that venue, it's not Kasarani Stadium as many. Actually, it wasn't actually officially communicated. It was people just started Kasarani Stadium. So as self-reported that it's going to be Kasarani Stadium. Now that one was corrected, and I'm going to give you the correction. It's still in Kasarani. Sasa, the way when you enter Kasarani, there is training ground, there is this and that, and that and those. Nitapata tu. Otherwise, how's your morning, Jojo?
My morning is very nice, very very amazing. Leo nakwambia imeenda too smoothly. Sijapata mikosi, nimeamka mapema, kila kitu imeenda vizuri, nimepata bus. Yani I just feel today is a very good day.
Today is a very good day.
Yes.
What time did you wake up? Before I tell you why I'm asking that question.
I woke up at like 5 a.m. hapo.
5 a.m.
Yeah, roughly. Let's say 5 a.m. to 5:10 a.m.
Nikwambia saa mimi niliamka.
Uliamka saa ngapi?
I have a joke for it. I woke up at Joe Pedro a.m.
Joe Pedro a.m.
Yes, 3 a.m.
Hey.
He'll perform at Laureate Gardens. Yes, in Kasarani.
Kwanza uliamka 3 a.m. Kwani wewe ni?
Niliamka Joe Pedro a.m. because Joe Pedro scored 3 goals yesterday night against a team that people are saying, kama Arsenal iliwakanyaga, sasa hampiti. We saw a hat-trick coming out of Joe Pedro. Nah, it's a happy day for me due to that.
It's a happy day for me too. You know, I saw Arsenal scored like 1. And then Man City kagomba vibaya sana, like they went to draw. Yes, it was a very happy moment, you know.
But no, there's a team. There's winning and there's being given.
Now listen, there's another team that I like to chokoza today.
There is winning and there is being given the win. Some team were given the win. And some teams won.
Our team won. Arsenal won.
I'm saying again, some teams were given the win and some teams won.
But
Sisi, because us we scored, and then later on at the game these guys scored and they won and they started maneno mingi. On the return fixture they scored, and then now we scored and we won, and then we won in style. And then there are others, referee, we are asking lots of questions, bana referee, namna gani kumeendaje,
but there's this team naona inalia. Unajua timu ya kiburi inalia this time. Walichapa na Newcastle.
You see, a team that was taken down to 10 men. But when the game continued, you wonder which team actually is down to 10 men. Is it Newcastle or is it Manchester United?
It was a very shocking thing for them to lose. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it.
Them winning is shocking. Now they lost. Now we are seeing things going back to reality. In fact, the only thing that is remaining for us to go back to reality is actually Arsenal just admitting that they are not where they're supposed to be. And you see, there are lots of things that are happening around the world that are not normal. And it just sums up that some people want the world to end. And it shouldn't end. So
I don't know, haters will hate, but there's
a wise saying that was once said, why argue with an Arsenal fan when you can just wait?
And why argue with a hater when they can just watch you win? Exactly.
Either watching them win or waiting for them to do their things. 15 minutes past the top of the hour. First of all, karibuni sana katika the show. The show is The Conversation with me, Cecil Eddie, and my co-host
Jojo.
Kabisa, na tunataka kuarusha straight into the headlines. Now, so much is happening and so much needs attention. Acha niwaanzishe. We're going to get the headlines to maneno ya juju before now we jump into the meaty, the juicy stories at the next half of this hour. At the top kabisa, there is a picture, not at the top huko juu imeandikwa Daily Nation and the prizes, but now the top story, the story that's on top. 3 guys, Edwin Sifuna on the left, James Orengo in the middle, and on the right we have Babu Owino. And the headline is Linda Mwananchi. What is Linda Mwananchi saying? We smell a rat. Resistance. National Assembly's Defense Committee Chair Nelson Koech claims slogan evokes paramilitary imagery. Yeah? Do you know what paramilitary imagery is? Wacha tukupe something small about this story.
Nipe kidogo nione.
Hiyo part ya paramilitary haijawekwa hapa, but it's on page 4 and 5. Yenye imewekwa hapa as just part of the headlines is stung by the revelation of a formal bid to transform their campaign slogan Linda Mwananchi into a party. An ODM faction allied to embattled Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has petitioned the Registrar of Political Parties to reject the application. Well, if the application is following due diligence, why should he or she reject? But pia tutajua tu, acha nitakusomea story after on the next part in half of the hour. States to borrow 2 trillion annually over 3 years. Unashtuka ama ushtuki?
Ni kitu tumezoea sasa. It's like
2 trillion is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Say if we tell you just 1 trillion, and then tukwambia uenda tukae chini tutakupea 1 trillion. Hii 1 trillion hata tuamue tunaigawa, we just tell you'll be receiving 3 million per month. You do nothing. My friend, will die even before you get to 1 trillion. And you know how 3 million is not something easy.
It's not something easy.
You can be buying cars every month. You can be eating and eating.
Traveling
and going to the gym, paying someone to do exercise for you. Like vitu mingi sana. So now this state of Kenya, with all its troubles, needs 2 trillion annually for the next 3 years. In the same government that promised sisi we will be depending on ourselves. Hii maneno ya kuomba hii
hatutaki.
Fruitful Kenya Pipeline IPO fetches 106 billion. We'll look into that story. Pay rise for police, prisons officers. Police na prisons officers mtalipwa. Now the stories that you guys, your welfare, nini, we are looking into it. And then ministry data blamed for grade 10 textbook hitch. Some schools have either been given fewer books or more than they need, according to KICD. So tunahitaji kudistribute vitabu. Some schools are getting enough, some schools are getting less, some schools are getting more, and we are like, mbona? Examination Council technically insolvent auditor examinations council technically insolvent, the auditor general says. And tawambia what exactly is being said in that story. Taka nikurushe katikati where there is crimes against humanity charges against Mackenzie. So controversial preacher and self-styled priestess Temba have been charged in relation to Kwa Binzaro deaths. Yani, hii case, it is still going on. Losing you is like losing music of my youth. Well, these are tributes at widow eulogizes MP Ngeno during the requiem service at Africa Gospel Church in Langata. Tributes pour in for 6 who lost their lives in a helicopter crash, state to foot funeral bills. We had the deputy president say, you guys, all of you, just do your calculations, okay? And after doing your calculations, just bring it to me. We will work. The government haitashindwa, and we'll support you guys. And for us, here at China FM, we are still sending our condolences to everyone who has lost their loved ones, especially in that incident. Sakaja gets rare support from Azimio MCAs amid ouster bid. So something is happening. Last week we read about these guys saying, "Hapana Sakaja, wewe umeshindwa na kazi, wewe tunakutoa." But right now it's like there's another support. I wonder, because this is not the first time we are talking about such. What normally happens? And are these guys really to be trusted? At the back pages, billion shilling sports fund gets a new boss, and who will make Team Kenya squad. Team Kenya is supposed to select a squad in World Indo Championships, and several athletes have hit the mark, but only 6 spots available. That ka thingy in high school when basi iko tuna space 62, tukishaweka walimu 4 tunabaki na the 58 spaces. Kindly, hata kama mkomia lazima tukue na list. Hiyo ndo watu wameambiwa hapo. And 7 match winning streak, God sense it is their time again. Hawaachili kikombe anytime soon, but FC Leopards is saying tutajua tu. Give me about the Standard.
Let's start on the first cover page. Ruto's Panagal. Is the ODM being repackaged as President William Ruto's 2027 campaign machine? As party chair Gladys Wanga openly drums up support for Ruto's re-election, seemingly at the expense of the party she leads. Insiders whisper of high-stakes gamble that could trade the soul of the Orange Democratic Movement for a shot at the deputy presidency. So the chair lady Gladys Wanga is supporting Ruto. Anasema 2 term. Anasema what? 2 term.
Jua tu. 2 term could mean very many things. 2 term as in 2 terms, or 2 term as in the beginning phrase, at the beginning consonant and symbols of the word tutampeleka State House, or tutampeleka Sugoi, or
tutafanya hivi, or
tutamsaidia kuenda. As in 2 term could be a lot of things, madam.
So let's not speculate.
Msishtuke. Bado masaa. It's politics. It's politics.
Tutajua. Tuacha tuone. Aya.
Tutamsaidia kujua pia.
Teachers cry foul over SHA medical cover. Now this is teachers seek return to old scheme amid healthcare access frustrations. Adi walimu wanalia, jameni.
Now if they cry, I wonder about all the others. You know, there's something when you go to public hospitals, in very many counters at the reception, the first question is, okay, yes, Rada, tuambie shida ni gani? I'd like to see a doctor, I'd like to be treated, or I have an appointment, etc. Okay, sasa medical cover ni gani? And then you say SHA. Ya public servant ama ya hizo zingine nini? if it is hizo zingine, you will have lots of processes there. At least for public servants, for TSC especially, because also TSC they usually ask kando, it's a bit easier. So now if they cry, and indeed it's true they are supposed to cry, how is the other Mwananchi feeling about the SHA?
But how is it?
Kuna shida
pahali.
Kuna shida mbaya.
Kama walimu wenyewe, public servants are the ones complaining, then we really have to ask ourselves, of those who are not public servants, what are they doing? Oburu camp, desperate for a slice.
Yesterday Sandra really struggled with some things hapo. Naona pia wewe imekushika. Okay.
Hizi majila.
Tuendelea tu.
Oburu camp, desperate for a slice of power. Analysts say openly, campaigning for Ruto may weaken ODM's bargaining power ahead of election. Now ODM's kizi ina support Ruto sana.
There's Linda Ground and there's Linda Mwananchi. So the people who are protecting the ground and what the ground is saying, they believe the ground is saying we should be in government. The people who are protecting the Mwananchi, and remember all this is self-alleged, those who are protecting the Mwananchi, now they say the Mwananchi is saying e-government, enough is enough. Both are ODM, because the big deal, the Baba left without being exactly clear that this is the person to take it over, that I leave it to this person, I leave it at this direction, I leave it this way and that way. And I don't blame him, because try and imagine if Baba then would just leave and say, now, after all my considerations, I would like to now sit back, relax, and enjoy watching what you guys will do. However, as Baba, the direction of the party is the direction of the ground. And then he says, we're going to leave it to maybe Gladys Wanga, we're going to leave it to Oburu Odinga, I'm going to leave it to whoever he'll leave it to. Even almost 1 hour, I leave it to almost 1 hour. There could be factions here who would be like, Baba, no, you're bringing ODM to a ditch, and maybe we would see now fights while Baba is watching, and ODM would crumble. Or Baba now says the other bit, I've considered my time and I feel like I've done this and this and that. Now we need to listen to the Mwananchi, and as we Linda Mwananchi, I would like to leave now ODM to my very able Secretary General who has been doing a good job. Now it's time for you to take the mantle and lead ODM. Now again, there would be factions. Mzee bwana tumepewa kazi hapa kwa government. Mzee hii government tukisupport nani amekuambia hii state machinery wako nao wanaweza pigwa? Mbona tuko opposition? Umekuwa opposition sana. Mbona tukosea? Now sisi tunatoka ODM. So maybe he has been fighting this battle for some time, even before na ndikaleta hii mashida yote. So ODM now, the same way we saw that picture yesterday at the newspapers, whereby it's an orange that is cut into half. That is essentially where we are at the moment. I don't think it will reach a point and then we hear a press conference. Now, after much considerations, we really love our party. We have decided, all of us, we are meeting and bringing ODM together and having a national delegates convention or dialogue or those big words we've been hearing before. I don't see the odds of that happening, because now it means one side will agree to meet the other side. And these guys and the political ego, bro, unless side that someone is in, he can... Anyway, tutajua. Bado headlines?
Yeah, bado kuna hii moja and it's so interesting. AI useful to courts, but must never replace human judge. Yeah, AI is useful to courts, but must never replace the human judge. So and they say something. Wame highlight hapa kitu moja. AI sometimes produces legal authorities that sound perfectly real, but do not exist. Lawyers around the world have already been embarrassed in court after relying on unverified AI citations. So they are saying
AI ina make mistake.
Hadi wanasema AI iko sawa, basi ni sawa, tumia AI, lakini my friend usilete ati una verify na hiyo isiwai replace. And then we have this warming El Nino may return. Imagine wameandika warming. For the first time, naona mistake on newspaper.
They normally happen.
Warming and okay, so it's a warning. El Nino may return
just
later.
Just read the words afterwards. Yeah. Whether it's warming or warning.
Warming. Alternative warming. El Nino may return later this year. Once UN weather unit.
Okay, so it's a warning.
Warning, El Nino may return later this year once UN weather unit.
So we will hear more about it after the next hour. So it's 29 minutes past the top of the hour. Keep it Shine FM. The show is The Conversation, episode number 8 with Cecil and Jojo. Usiende mbali, at 1 centimeter away. We will be right back.
Amua ni nini?
Amapiano, jamani, Amapiano. We're feeling some good vibes. Now, a few things here and there. The song is by Kabza the Small and DJ Maforisa. Now, there was this question that I've been asked. Hujatuambia what we will be discussing in the conversation leo.
No,
I'm not imitating. Instead of saying I quote, you just change your voice so that you can give the sort of notion that indeed this is the person you're talking about, someone different. So now issue ilikuwa planned in a one way whereby we will be having a discussion with the Electoral Commission of Daystar Commissioner and also the Vice Chair, but a certain meeting has been called mapema hii jana jioni. So we had to change it, and we changed the conversation into having a conversation with some people who claimed online and also kwa ground that interview that you had with Yuri, hiyo interview walituibia manifesto yetu yote, wakaenda wakakopi, wakafinya button ya nini ya paste na wakapaste. So sisi hatutaki mabaya, it's right of reply, and we invited it's Kadu, the party is Kadu, and just a quick one, Kadu here, I know it ends with Daystar University, but I need to know the C and A. It's Comrades Alliance of Daystar University. We invited the aspirant, the chief wa huko juu kabisa, Matthew Stanui.
Anakaa huko kwa
bas. So Matthew Stanui, we want to have a conversation with him, lakini sasa tena asubuhi shetani ya kuita watu ma meeting ikashika hapo tena. However, he is not a bad guy. Ati tuseme no, he actually gave us now a gubernatorial aspirant of the same party, and we're going to have now Justin Justin Mutinda, the gubernatorial aspirant for the party. But in Daystar things change even in the last day. But for now, iko hivyo, wamesema wamelinda structures. Wamelinda structures mapema. So we will be having Justin. Sawa.
Tumejua sasa.
So we pick the top stories. Mimi ile story nataka kuongelelea. Tuanze na gani hapa, na ile yenye itatushika sisi, yenye itatufurahisha.
Kuna kitu inaweza furahisha watu.
Ndio ninataka tu at least tuongee kitu itatufurahisha, but now tukikosea kutufurahisha, uko na kufurahisha kweli ama zote tunza kufurahisha. Sawa, fanya aje? Acha niwape some political story. Sasa, and it's quick. So the quick
maifurahisha mtu jamii.
Kenya hizi frame. In some countries there are usually structures in politics now you can enjoy. So I start with fight back. Sifuna team smells Athi move to register Linda Mwananchi. Battle lines have been drawn after a formal objection was lodged against an application seeking to register Linda Mwananchi as a political party, with allies of the embattled ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna warning of an attempt to hijack their reformist platform. Okay, so it's all like saying hapa kuna watu wanataka kutuharibia jina. Wameona tuko na reforming, we have reformists wanataka kuja kuharibu. Mr. Sifuna's camp yesterday protested to the registrar of political parties, demanding the rejection of the application to begin registration of Linda Mwananchi as a party, claiming ownership of the movement and distancing themselves from the bid to transform it into a party. Lawyers representing the group wrote to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties, the ORPP, urging to decline an application seeking to reserve and register Linda Mwananchi as a standalone political outfit. The objection filed by Henia Anzala and associates is made on behalf of Mr. Sifuna, Siaya Governor James Orengo, ODM co-deputy party leader and Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi, and Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka, and MPs Babu Owino wa Embakasi East, Caleb Amisi of Saboti, Anthony Kibagendi of Kitutu Chache South, Majimbo Kalasinga of Kabuchai, Karoli Momondi of Suba, Barongo Obadia of Bomachoge, Boradu, and many more, and the story goes on, In short, we are saying, in Linda Mwananchi, people are claiming copyrights. Ama kusema tu, hii ni kitu yetu. Okay. Hii kusema Linda Mwananchi ni yetu. And there was an MP who was actually speaking against it and saying, sasa tukisema hawa wamejiita Linda Mwananchi and they are claiming now, this is a threat to national security, because hiyo ni kazi ya KDF, kazi ya polisi, kazi ya our defense forces and our armed forces. Hiyo ni kazi yao. Hao ndo wanalinda mwananchi. Mbona hao waanze kusema Linda Mwananchi ni mambo yao, waanze kukatati. Waache kutumia that such kind of a word. Nini kasirisha. Yeah. And then there's the zoning dilemma for Ruto Oburu in coalition talks. Now let me give you that story. Now that's the other side where there's the Linda ground is worried about the zoning of traditional bases. Hey, poleni. Zoning of traditional bases has emerged as a contentious issue in the pre-election coalition talks between President William Ruto's United Democratic Alliance, that is UDA, and the Orange Democratic Movement, which is ODM. Nana hiyo wordplay. Kuna D katikati. ODM. Nice. The two main parties in the broad-based government hold a sharply opposing positions. UDA has ruled out zoning, while ODM has listed it as one of its irreducible minimums in the planned negotiation. Zoning is a political arrangement in which coalition partners agree not to field candidates in each other's strongholds. President Ruto and top UDA officials have said they are ready for friendly fire with their coalition partners, arguing that ODM should not fear competition if it is genuinely popular in its traditional bastions. Remember, what word is this? Let's say in its traditional strongholds. UDA has, however, indicated it could compromise in certain areas such as Nairobi through joint nominations with ODM. See, you know the story. So now, tumeona Linda Mwananchi, they are having problems with having their name registered as a political parties, and some people saying we should not actually start associating with names like Linda Mwananchi. Nyinyi si polisi. But kwa Linda ground, now this guy is saying ODM and UDA were discussing. In this discussion, we need to now know, you guys, we need to work with zoning, and UDA is saying no, and ODM is saying yes. So now ODM or Linda ground, they are like, for someone who will ask now, what is zoning? Tunaambiwa hapa zoning is that kanini whereby we say mahali kama Nyanza si nyinyi wa Linda ground mko na ground uko. So if tunaweka hapa MP wetu, governor, MCA, things of the sort, tukiweka wa ODM, hatuweki wa UDA, sisi ni ma friends. Alafu tukienda mahali kama Rift Valley huko Eldoret, huko sini kwenu. Kwa hivyo mkiweka mtu wa UDA kwa MCA, kwa MP, atufai kuweka ODM. And then they are like, yes, atufai. Sisi ni ma friends. Yes, sisi ni ma friends. So ODM is pushing it that way. But UDA is like, mnaogopa nini? Si tukutane, hata kasi ni ma friends, tuvute tu kidogo, tuone kama tuko strong. Mbona ukwe na wasiwasi kuhusu hiyo kama kweli uko popular? Mbona?
Yeah, see, we are friends. Let us compete.
We can have a friendly fire.
Kama friendly match ni
friendly fire hapa na pale. You get such kinds of conversation. So now that is what they have at the table. Sijui itaendaje, but niko
uko 50-50 ama uko sure mmoja wao atashinda?
If you have to come to an agreement, it means either one sacrifices their stance and joins the other, or the other sacrifices and joins ama tupatane katikati. I don't know what the katikati would be here, but I see what they are trying to do in real sense.
Yeah.
You see, UDA is trying to say, in case tuwashinde, tutakuwa na that bargaining power, because especially looking at the current parliament, which ilikuwa ishanyamazishwa kitambo due to this friendship and political parties with government nini. So that's the sort of conversation yenye wako nayo, and UDA saying what if tuweke watu wengi, what if and ODM is like hapana, we need to secure ground, wacha hata na linda ground, secure ground. Huku kwetu ni kwetu, nyinyi msianze kuweka watu mali, nyinyi mtaweka, sisi tutaweka, we need to zone and then tutaona vile watafanya. Give me your stories.
Unajua hapo tu sinakumbuka nikisema the first page, cover page ilikuwa inasema Ruto's Spana Girl, that is Gladys Wanga, openly drums support for Ruto's re-election. Now let's dive into that. ODM chairperson Gladys Wanga is a woman on a mission. She's determined to ensure that Orange Democratic Movement works with the UDA to secure President Williams Ruto re-election in the next year's general election. In her mission, the Homa Bay governor has many times appeared uncompromising, showing little regard of the potential repercussions her approach may have on Raila Odinga's 20-year-old party. According to Wanga, any member opposed to a deal between ODM and the president should leave the party. And I quote, she said, ODM will, in 2027, either form the government or be part of a coalition government. So she's saying it's either we are the government or we are coalition of the government. So it's either Ruto ashinde ama mtu wa ODM ashinde.
This is just a gentle reminder that even Moi one day went in front of the media and said, kama iko mtu hapa ambaye mimi nimekosea, naomba msamaha. Na kama kuna mtu ambaye kwa njia moja ama nyingine amenikosea, mimi naye namsamehe. Something of the sort.
Yes,
even if it's not exactly. You say something called kiburi. Yeah. Whereby even saying, if there's anyone who doesn't want to agree with what I'm saying, toka enda, sisi we will be part of government. Umejijaza. It will reach a point whereby even the strongest, they wanted really to apologize. And we may not know the response of the public when it is your time to apologize. Tupunguze kiburi.
Unajua to observers at the party wanasema she might be aiming for more than just support. She might be aiming for either the deputy president seat.
But it doesn't mean weke kiburi, because also in the same UDA there is a deputy president who won't just sit down and say, tumeona umetutetea sana, mimi sasa nakuachia hii position ya deputy, ingia ukae hapo. It won't be easy. Let us listen to what people are saying. Isikwe tu, if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to eat in this house, and after it doesn't work like that.
It's giving parents, African parents. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a story of junior officers winning big as final phase of police pay increment is announced. So salary review is part of a raft of recommendations made by task force led by ex-CJ David Maraga. Junior police officers are the biggest beneficiaries of a sweeping salary review that will see constables and mid-ranking officers receive the sharpest percentage increase in their basic pay under the ongoing security sector reforms. The adjustments are part of a recommendation made by a task force on police reforms that was chaired by former Chief Justice David Maraga, which submitted its report to President William Ruto in 2023. The final phase of the increment takes effect in July, marking the completion of a 3-year salary restructuring program for officers in the National Police Service, the Kenya Prison Service, and the National Youth Service. Wacha tuangalie this sort of pay. So there is Kenya Prison Service, okay?
Yeah, there's Kenya Prison Service.
And something about PG. I don't know whether I'm seeing a key somewhere that will tell us what PG means here. But anyway, so there is PG12, PG11, PG10, and the salaries are from PG12, they decrease as you go down to PG1. So PG12 earns the highest. Now, a very big salary increment hapa, and this is for PG is prison's grade. Oh, no, it can't be that way because NYS also hapa anaona PG. Anyway, wacha nitafute huku chini mahali wanaongelea the increment. Hii nikiwasomea it will take much time. A police constable, that is the lowest cadre, whatever, in the service will now earn a maximum basic salary of 57,000 up from 38,000 which they used to earn, representing a 48% increase. Wow, that's good. And good. At the entry level, newly graduated constable will start at 29,000 up from 20,000. So umegraduate tu hivi, yes, anza kula 29. That represents a 44% rise. Yes, beyond the entry level category, the PG9 category stands out as a major beneficiary of the review, and officers in this grade move from a previous minimum of 68,000 to 111, increase of more than 43,000. That's about 63%. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
That's a very big deal.
Na kuna mengi about it. Ukitaka kuziona, ingia online, ama also go and buy yourself a Daily Nation. Fungua page 1, fungua page 2, fungua page 3, 4, 5, 6. Ukifika to TV7, unaipata.
Unajua kuna story hapa. I'm sure most people don't know about it.
In 4 minutes.
In 4 minutes. Hata itachukua 2 minutes.
Okay.
High Court halts Gikomba Market demolition plan. Thousands of Gikomba Market traders and Nairobi Riverbank resident yesterday received a last-minute reprieve after the High Court stopped the planned demolition of their homes and business premises. Justice Lillian Kimani of the Environment and Land Court orders status quo on the disputed land, shielding over 3,000 residents from the immediate threat of losing their homes, businesses, and schools and health facilities. By the way, the orders were issued on the very day a day 14-day demolition notice served by Water Resources Authority was set to lapse. The notice, issued on February 19th, 2026, had threatened to bring down permanent multi-story structures at Gikomba Cloth Market, Nyayo Open Air Market, Gikomba Open Air Market, and Shauri Moyo, Kamkunji, Blue Estate, and Bahati Annex on the allegation that the developments fall within 30-meter riparian along the Nairobi River. So, yeah. Said Gikomba will not be demolished, as it was said to have been demolished.
Why do you sound surprised?
I don't know, I'm not surprised. But you know,
in Nairobi, there are things that are owned by people who you never quite directly know who's the owner.
Yeah.
And you may end up even thinking it's just the government. There are people who run the streets of Nairobi. You get?
Yeah, I get.
I'm telling you something. People who are running this second-hand business thingies, yamanguo na nini, those people are earning a lot here in the country. Money. And we even had it during campaigns of 2022 general elections. I think it was Baba who was speaking about it. The business of Gikomba na nini. And it goes ahead to also speak about international. Some people call them cartels. It's okay. Now, every time you hear someone try to say something like, now you're kuguza Gikomba, or kuguza matakataka, or kuguza some things around the city, even if it's the governor, you end up later seeing them battling some struggles which you don't understand.
Yeah,
that's the same case. That's the same case. That's the same case. Unajaribu kuguza Gikomba, but the people who are running the Gikomba, who you may not know directly,
might not allow you to do such a thing.
Independent of the reason, the whatever, the ambition, the kila kitu. Hiyo mimi sijashtuka. Hata hiyo when I hear someone just come out clearly and saying, hapa tuko na structure, tunaenda kutoa takataka Nairobi. There are people hapo kwa hiyo takataka tu unaona hapo. And sad to say, they are eating eating and their stomachs are really really fat. That's why takataka haitoki rahisi.
Haitoki hapo sababu wanakulia hiyo takataka.
Wanakulia hapo.
So ikitoka then they will sleep hungry.
Inakuwa mbaya.
And no one can allow themselves to sleep hungry in this.
True. So yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and then Justin Mutinda is around studio, and will join us at after 9. So keep it China FM. The show is The Conversation with Cecil and Jojo. Usiende mahali jamani. Uko na plan ya kwenda mahali mbona? Jojo, mbona mtu akwe na plan ya kwenda mahali atuache hapa, and you're going to have some pretty nice conversation much later on, sindio?
Yeah, pretty nice conversation. A hot conversation.
Hot.
Kuna mtu unajua aja tune in. Mwambie tune in tafadhali.
Mtumie link, mtumie kila kitu hapa, we must know.